Hey guys, welcome to my first look at Cubetractor. This is a cute little like puzzly strategy game that just came out on Steam for $10. And you know, a puzzly strategy is kind of a weird description for it, but it's kind of tough to tell you exactly how it works. So let's just go ahead and introduce some mechanics here. I'm going to skip through most of the dialogue here because it's not really related to what's happening most of the time. Like, it's pretty straight up, just solve this puzzle, kill all the things. But, you know, there is a little bit of a story here. And I don't really see too much reason to spoil it. It's very cutesy and fairly extraneous, I find. But anyway, so as you can see, we can walk up to these blocks, and when we press the A button while facing them, then they're pulled toward us. And if those blocks hit something that is, you know, considered an enemy to us, or if they hit us, actually, we can damage ourselves, but we can destroy enemies in the environment just by pulling these cubes into them. That is not the only thing that we can do to kill enemies, but it is the introductory thing that we can do to kill enemies. The batteries I'm picking up, by the way, are just kind of bonus points. There are certain, like, you know, you get raked for every level you do, either a bronze, silver, gold, or master. And I think to get anything above bronze, you do have to collect every single battery. But obviously we're not trying to, you know, max out our score here or anything. Just kind of making our way through the game so we can pick up all these batteries. Oh, that guy actually has to die too, I forgot about that. Usually he just dies in the crossfire there. But anyway, so we can kill things by dragging blocks into them, but that is not by any means the most interesting mechanic that we can take use of or take note of. So here's the end screen. Did it lightning fast. Did not collect all the batteries though. So to get anything above bronze, again, you need to get every single battery on the level. So let's go ahead and do this next exam, and we can see some more mechanics being added and why the game is actually very interesting, like puzzle slash strategy speaking. That's not strategically speaking, I guess, is what I would say there. Anyway, so we can pull these blocks into each other instead of pulling them toward that turret, because as you can see, there are no blocks perpendicular to that turret that we can use to hit it directly. But if we make blocks hit each other, then they turn into these turrets, you know, that are actually functionally identical to that turret that the enemy uses. Same amount of health, same regen, same damage, etc. And use those to dismantle the enemy's defenses. So in this stage is a little bit more complicated because we're going to, you know, sometimes do things by dragging blocks into turrets like this, and sometimes we'll just do it by making turrets and having them do our work for us. But for this one, we're going to need to drag these blocks into that block until it finally breaks. And then over here, because there's nothing perpendicular to this turret, we'll create our own turret to fight against it. There is, as you can see, a timer, so when you create a turret, it can take damage and often be destroyed before it has a chance to do any damage of its own. You can also destroy your turrets by pressing the B button at them. By the way, I'm using a controller, but I'm sure the keyboard controls work just fine. It's not a very complicated thing to have to do. But anyway, I'm going to show off a little secret here. So this block is going to contain a battery that we need to, you know, get over a silver medal on this level. But how do we get to it? We can't do any damage directly, and there are no blocks we can pull into it. Well, what we actually need to do is... oh, well, that didn't work. I misjudged the distances there. We'll just let these respawn. Hopefully those will hit. Yeah, and make those collide, and then that turret would eventually take this down. I'll demonstrate it, but I won't actually allow it to finish because that would take a long time. Because it has a charge time associated. But anyway, there are a lot of small puzzles like that where you might otherwise miss a battery and have to go back and play again if you didn't think to do that. So this one's pretty simple. All we're going to do is... oh, well, that was real dumb. Just pulled that block directly into me, causing myself to take some damage. But we'll just pull all of these into each other and have them do our combat for us. I'm trying to walk through the turret. What am I doing? Anyway. By the way, I've actually tried to record this video many times, but between like losing focus and saying stupid things and just, you know, getting into a coughing fit, this is probably like my 4th take. So hopefully you can excuse me if either I forget to explain something properly or I just sound a little bit flustered, because I guarantee you this is the best take I've had. But anyway, so it's still fairly early in the game, as you can see, so the strategy is fairly simple. But later on, there are actually different types of blocks that you can combine. It's not all just, you know, make turrets, fight enemies. There are 3 different kinds of blocks, and every combination of block creates a different type of turret that can be used in a different situation. And we should see probably one more of those types of blocks soon. I don't want to spoil the last one necessarily, because I'm not sure actually how far I am through the game, but I have played for probably about 2 hours, and I've seen all 3 types of blocks, or at least, like, as you can see, the types of blocks are there. I'm not going to mouse over the other one. You can see what it looks like, but you can't see what it does. But anyway, it seems like there are only room for 3 types of cubes, so it wouldn't necessarily blow me away if they were like, surprise, there's another one! But anyway, let's go ahead and introduce another type of block here. So as you can see, instead of just the spine blocks, we now have earth blocks as well. And they work just like the spine blocks in that if we pull them into things, then it will break them. But pretty soon we'll see a combination of, you know, what happens when you put 2 earth blocks together. And they also can mix with spines later, though I don't think that's been introduced yet. Like, you have to unlock that by getting to a certain level. So right now, if we tried to do it, they would just blow each other up. Go ahead and make some blocks here and then immediately damage that one. God damn it. That went really poorly, actually. Well, let's go ahead and make a turret here. Make a turret here. And let's just destroy the... Oh my god. The block was destroyed at the worst possible moment. That's not going to do anything at all for me, so let's go ahead and try to make one on the same... That's weird. I don't know why that one is forming on a different plane than the other one. I must just be being stupid about something. But anyway, this looks to be enough now that we have an advantage over this turret. DPS-wise, we should just be able to take it out before it can do any damage here. But anyway, so that's the barrier that you can create just by smashing 2 earth blocks into each other. And there's a lot of situations where you want to make those and then hide turrets behind them. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on here. So this one's a little bit more complicated. You need to have some timing to make this work properly, which I'm usually really good at, but for whatever reason when I start recording I get way worse at it, so hopefully this isn't too infuriating to watch. I'm really hoping this creature just dies holistically. Think those will hit. Perfect. Yeah, this is by far the best run I've had so far on camera. But those guys will just take out that turret, no problem. And again, I don't think I'm allowed to mix the spines and the earths yet, but we'll definitely introduce that mechanic soon. For this one, we can just go back to the old style, smash into it with blocks. No reason to, you know, fuck around with anything more elaborate than that. Anyway, so for this one, we're gonna have to do some timing to make sure that the barriers form over here. I don't think that was good enough. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Oh, that was totally wrong. Did that in the wrong order. But anyway, soon this will respawn. Good. Ah, shit. Come on. There we go. And that will be way better. I think that will fully block everything. Perfect. And then we'll just try to get another one back here. And now we'll have to make another barrier. And that should do it. This turret should easily take out the opposing turret. And that's the end of that level. So as you can see, already a little bit of strategy coming out, though like I said, it gets much more complicated pretty quickly. This is actually the first one where you really have to use your brain. That thing is called a power plant, which is actually what we'll be able to make later, but we don't have that ability yet. So the power plant is going to make it so that those turrets fire twice as quickly. Just trying to kill this guy on my way out here. But what we're going to need to do is actually destroy that power plant first, or else we're going to find it impossible to assault those turrets. They're going to always do enough DPS that we can't really do anything to stop them. I hate when I get the timing fucked up on these respawns. Nice, just barely got that one. That one should be destroyed now, so just destroying those, and then if we build a turret back here, we should be able to make one in such a location that it will be able to fight the power plant and not get shot down by the turrets. And then after that power plant is dead, then we'll be able to pull off a frontal assault over here. Like so. There we go, that went pretty well. And then when our turrets finish building, and after we get that barrier back up, then they'll start fighting back. Oh man, I wish those were focused on the same block, but we should be fine here. Shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah, they'll just slowly make their way through those barriers and then attack the turrets, then we'll be able to get out of this area. But eventually you get to the point where you're making your own power plants to, you know, like boost the DPS of a turret that otherwise would not be able to overcome the defenses of a certain area and so forth. That was abysmal damage. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Again, skipping that battery because I'm not really concerned with, you know, boosting my ranking here so much as just showing off the mechanics of Cubetractor. By the way, I should touch on, you know, I like the sound design, I like the aesthetic a lot. It reminds me a lot of a Game Boy Advance game, which in my mind is a really good thing. I loved the Game Boy Advance a lot. It had a graphical quality that made it really easy to show a lot with very little, if that makes any sense. So I think on this level we are actually allowed to use a power plant. So let's go ahead and first create a blockade there, then create a turret right behind it. No! Alright, I think we're lucky there, and then we'll make a power plant out of the way so that it won't be able to be targeted. But now, as soon as that's up, our turret will start firing twice as quickly and twice as often, which will easily allow us to outdamage this turret over here. Any second now, there we go. And then we'll just destroy all of these and do the same thing over on this side. There we go. And there are like speedrunning strats I could be employing here for sure to make this a little bit more effective. Like you can pull multiple blocks at once to get things done more quickly, but you know, especially while I'm concerned with commentating, that's not the sort of thing I'm necessarily good enough to think to do yet. But now that they're on basically even footing, yeah, that turret will go down very quickly because our turret is twice as powerful. And that is the end of that stage. Alright, the biggest setup yet. So the first thing we have to do here is obviously just get out of this initial area. Oops, that was totally wrong. Just pulled the wrong block first. There's a lot of timing involved in this game. It's almost like a rhythm type of game, but not really. But precise timing is really important. It has a lot more real-time elements than your typical puzzle game would. There's a lot of like bullet dodging and getting out of the way of homing bullets and so forth. And you know, timing your shots, or timing your pulls right at to get them at a time when you also won't just take damage while you're doing it. So there's a lot going on here that is, you know, not something you would expect out of a puzzle game typically, and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a really interesting entry into a genre that is, you know, often not so interesting. That was terrible. Again, I had to get out of the way of that monster, so my timing went totally wrong. But anyway, let's go ahead and pull this at the right time so we can take down... God damn it. We need to take down that power generator so that stuff stops being so goddamn powerful. That should do it. There we go. So my turret is now in a place where it can't actually take damage. So we'll be able to take down the power generator with relative impunity. There we go. Let's grab that. And then, what do we need to do here? Oh, but of course, for these guys, we can just pull blocks into them to destroy them. It's something that's easy to forget after you've been playing this game for a certain amount of time, that, oh yeah, I can just pull things into turrets to destroy them. I don't have to do all this, you know, fancy bullshit. Let's see here. How are we gonna do this? I guess we're gonna do... I see. Okay, so we're gonna make a blockade here, and then we're going to make a turret behind that blockade. That may or may not have worked. And we're gonna make a power generator to make our turret more powerful so we can get through this blockade more efficaciously. Power generator is probably not strictly necessary, but it does make this go a lot more quickly. And pretty soon that turret will go down. And if we so choose, we can allow this turret to finish off that block to get the last battery. Actually, there's some batteries over here that I might as well grab. And now the block is almost gone, so why not? So we'll get 100% batteries this time, and move onward. And now I think we'll do one more stage. Although I should mention, it's not just these exams. The exams are like the major points, and you can usually go just straight exam to exam, as I have been up here. I was just trying to reveal some more mechanics before I started the game to see how deep the rabbit hole went. But anyway, so there are these side quests. And also, there's tutorials that were done between each of these that I skipped for obvious reasons. You know, they're not so important when I already know what I'm doing. But there are a lot of side quests here, and I'm sure if I did these, then they would branch out even further, and for those you can get extra stars. So, you know, each side quest does not have the ranking system associated that the exams do, but they'll each give you 1 star each, so you can get up to 100% that way. So let's go ahead and check out one of these side quests here, which are done after the associated exam. He's powered by enthusiasm, that's right. It's our robot's power source is enthusiasm. Like I said, pretty cutesy premise here. Oh, that was real dumb. Anyway, we'll just pull these in here. So these are usually just one stage, like clear the area of monsters and opposing turrets and so forth. Oh my god. There we go. I forget that these guys are doing more damage because of their power generators. And as a result, I am continually taking damage here. Anyway, now that that power generator is done, that's a big deal. Okay. There we go. That was way easier. Just being dumb before. Yeah, okay, one more time. There we go. Pull those in, and that power generator will die as well. Got stuck in that little choke point there. Jesus. There we go. So there's some bullet hell going on in this game sometimes. Though that's usually not the focus. Oh, I accidentally made a barrier there. Didn't mean to do that. Let's see, and what are we supposed to do about this? I guess we'll just create some turrets and have them fight. I'll actually get rid of this so that we can create a blockade over here. That didn't work, I guess. I meant to pull, I guess I fucked it up somehow. But anyway. Alright, I think that's in a fair enough location. But again, my pull didn't quite go off for some reason. Nope. Shit. Alright. There we go. My pull actually went off. It's tricky sometimes because you have to then immediately move after making your turret if you don't want to immediately get hit. And again, you know, like any first look, really, I'm so much better at this game off camera than I am on camera. It's absurd. It's so frustrating. Every single time I try to make a first look, I just completely botch it because I become terrible at video games when I have to talk while playing them. And especially in the first looks, you know, it's different from a Let's Play because I really want to show off the things that make this game unique and interesting and talk about the art style and talk about why I think it's worth buying. And, you know, between all of that mental energy that goes into thinking of those things, gameplay kind of falls by the wayside. But anyway, that's enough ranting about what it's like to review games on the internet. Or, not that this is a review, just a first impression. But still, it's a little bit of a review. So I am really enjoying this. I played this for about 2 hours straight, never stopped enjoying myself. Really interesting mechanics have been, you know, consistently introduced over the time I've been playing. And always just something, you know, a new turret type to think about how to use, or a new situation that the game puts you in. So like I said, that's just like a one frame, like destroy all of these enemies and you get a star for that. And there are quite a few of those, it seems. So right now I'm like 35 stars in. So I'm probably like, I wouldn't be surprised if I was like 60-70% of the way through the main quest, but that there are a shit ton of these side quests, and a lot of the side quests are actually harder than the exam itself, I find anyway. So anyway, that is Cubetractor. Why did I say Robotractor? That was really silly. Anyway, Cubetractor. It's on Steam for $10 right now. It's not something I would recommend to everybody necessarily, but if you watched this video and you thought it looked neat, then I would definitely recommend it to you. Because, you know, I think it's pretty neat myself. You know, some people aren't into the puzzly strategy type of thing, and if that's not your deal, then I think you already know it. But if this is the sort of game you tend to like, then, you know, I think Cubetractor is going to be a good investment for you. And, you know, it's a nice little jump in, solve a few puzzles, and just make yourself feel good for a little while kind of game. You know, nothing too hardcore or serious necessarily, just a sort of fun time killer game. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.